I'm Jodie and I'm the founder of Trust Your Body. I'm a hypnobirthing specialist based in the Essex area, but I have now decided to do a free online taster session because what I have found a lot of the time is that women generally, and men generally, don't know what hypnobirthing is or any sort of hypnobirthing preparation. So this free taster session is going to be able to get you to really understand what hypnobirthing is and what it can do to help you get the birth that you want. So I want you to grab your cup of tea, snuggle up in bed and watch the taster session and really understand what I can do to help you. So, first of all, I want to say a massive congratulations. If this is your first baby, your second baby, or your third baby, it does not matter, as every birth is different, every pregnancy is different, and you might feel completely different in this birth to you did with your first or your second. So I want to say a massive congratulations, and I cannot wait to, if you end up working with me, to hear your beautiful birth stories. So I'm just going to give you a little bit of a background on myself and why I trained as a hypnobirthing teacher. So first of all, I am a mum of 3. I'm a wife. I am that cliche family life. I've got 3 mental children that run around, are chaotic, and sometimes life is just so busy. But with regards to hypnobirthing, it was something that I really felt extremely passionate about, especially after my 3rd birth. So with my 3rd birth, I was not listened to. I was not allowed to trust my body. I wasn't allowed to do anything that I wanted to do in that moment. Now, where this was my 3rd birth, I felt very confident in what was happening to my body. Whereas if that was my 1st birth, I would have felt overwhelmed. I would have felt scared because I was begging someone to help me, as my 3rd baby head was coming out and no one would listen to me because I'd only been checked 10 minutes before and I was 2 centimetres. So baby come in 18 minutes and they did not believe me one bit. So it's really good to understand the physiological side of birth when you're going into labour. This is so important, as if we don't understand the physiological side, we cannot advocate for ourselves. We cannot make sure that we actually have the births that we want. So hypnobirthing, going on to that, it's really important for everyone to understand that the hypnobirthing side is not being with a tandem, sitting there, falling asleep, turning into a chicken, turning into this awful sort of thing that we've classed as hypnosis, if you like. It is going into a hypnosis state. So the word hypnobirthing comes from the actual understanding that we need to get our bodies into a hypnosis state so that our bodies can cope better with the pain and the delivery of the baby. So with regards to hypno, it is what we do every single day. We all go into a hypnosis state once a day. Now you might be looking at the screen and going, what's she going on about? But we do. We all go into a hypnosis state at least once a day. Some people twice. So it's when you're about to go to sleep, but you're still quite conscious, you're a bit dazed, you're a bit sort of away with the fairies, and you're just about to drift off. That is called a hypnosis state. And that's the state that we would like you to be in when you are labouring and delivering. Because what we've learned is that overall, we need to be in a hypnosis state to actually be able to cope, to be able to deal with things, to be able to deal with the actual pain that is about to come. So, I want to give you a little bit of a backstory on where hypnobirthing comes from and why we actually really advocate this in the birthing world. So, you might be sitting at home thinking that hypnobirthing is just not for me, it's really hippy dippy, it's just, no, why would I want to be like that? That's not what I'm like. I'm mental, I'm crazy, I love to be loud and exciting. But actually, my personality is loud, outgoing. I'm the first one up dancing. I'm the first one to speak up. I'm the loudest in the room. I always have been. But hypnobirthing is not about being a hippie. It's about actually learning about yourself, about how you get relaxed, what you feel makes you the best version of yourself. So, the history is that a doctor called Dr. Grantley Dick Reed actually decided to do his studies when it comes to birth. So he could not understand why one woman would be screaming her head off and another woman might be quite calm, quite collected until the end, and then other women would just be in a state from start to finish. He wanted to understand why this actually happens. And it's so important that we know why this happens, because it goes straight back to why hypnobirthing is so important. So, Dr. Grantley Dick Reed started doing his studies in the 1913 to about 1940, and he decided to go to all different births and understand that why women are so different when it comes to birth. So he started off in the wealthy, and they were all dealing with it quite badly, needed to be medicalised, needed a lot of doctors around them. He went to the poor families. Now the poor families really liked to give birth at home, liked to have their mums with them, that sort of environment, and they sort of coped a little bit better. Now, in those times, they would actually give the ladies chloroform. So if you don't know what chloroform is, it is a sort of like a gas and air, but it just knocks you out. It just knocks you out completely. Now, women would be given this to try and help them cope with the end of labour. So, every time he would visit a lady, he would offer them the chloroform. Now, he's gone to one family member, and she was a young girl. She had hardly any family. She had maybe like a mum and a sister, but hardly any family. Was very, very young, was out of wedlock, which is very, very frowned upon in the community at the time. And it was very important that this was changed the whole dynamic of hypnobirthing, was this one young girl. So this young girl was labouring quite quietly, was really feeling her body, was really trying to understand what was going on, was not scared, was not fearful. And she had the most beautiful birth. She didn't scream, she didn't make a fuss, she just went with her body. Now, the doctor actually said to her, "Would you like the chloroform?" And she said no, don't even know what it is, don't need it. And he was a bit taken back by that, because normally when a woman is labouring, very much at the end, they would be a bit out of control. So the chloroform would really help with that. So when he actually done this, he could not understand why she'd said that. So he sat back, relaxed, and just watched the labour. And what he found was when she delivered baby, he went and asked her the one question that he never asked anyone before, was, why did you not have the chloroform? Did it not hurt? And her response was it meant to? So he was like, oh my gosh, she didn't know it was going to hurt. So she didn't understand what was going to happen in her mind. So she wasn't fearful of birth. She wasn't scared of birth. She just went with her body. So this is where the whole actual side of hypnobirthing comes from. So from the studies that we have looked at, we have seen that actually everyone in this century is so fearful of birth. So fearful. Everyone is terrified of giving birth. Now, why do you think this is? Do we think that it's social media? Would it be the news? Would it be one born every minute? Because you watch that and it is terrifying. The stories they show you is absolutely terrifying. But what we've actually learned is that if we take that fear away and change our mindset, actually we end up with better results. Now, I want you to just do a little bit of a task with you and your partner. Hopefully you're both sitting together, but I would like you to just do a little bit of a task with me. I want you to grab your hands just like this and move them really freely. Really freely. Okay, really sort of get to know that feeling. Now, I want you to tense your muscles. Really tense those muscles in your fingers. Okay, and I want you to do the same motion. Now, how does that feel? Do you feel tense? Did that feel harder than being able to just freely move your body, freely move your fingers? Yes, it would have hurt more. Now, what we know is that in our fingers, actually, these are tiny muscles. Now, when we are contracting in labour, our uterus is a muscle. So what happens is, if that is tense and stressed and you feel so, that is where the pain actually becomes more painful. Okay, so I'm just going to show you what I mean by this. Now, we call this the fear, tension, pain cycle in hypnobirthing. So if we start fearing the actual labour, the contraction coming, if we are just full of fear and stress and anxiety, what's going to happen is we are going to tense more. Now, what I've seen in labour when I've been acting as a doula, when I've been at my friends' deliveries, and even my own with my first, is you naturally go like this. You naturally tense up. You naturally feel everybody go up, when really we need to get the body down. We need to bear down with our body to work with that. Now, what we say is that the fear side is so important, because if we start fearing this, we are going to be tense, and then that actually will make our labour more painful. Now, as a hypnobirthing specialist and a birth coach, I will not tell you that birth is not going to be painful, because our body is the most magical thing going. It tells us where we are in labour with regards to the pain and the timings and where you are. So we wouldn't be able to do that without the pain. However, the managing of it can be so much better if we understand that the cycle is the fear, tension, pain cycle. Once we're in this cycle, it's really, really hard to get out. So we always say, if you're fearful of the dentist and you went into that dentist chair and they said to you, just relax, but you know you're about to have a tooth taken out, your instant reaction is, I'm scared, I'm tense. So this is where hypnobirthing is so important, because what we end up doing is we need to understand what you are fearful of that will cause the tension, which then will cause the pain to be more painful. So what we need to understand is, what is the most fearful situation for you? So would that be tearing? Would that be just the contractions? Would it be the labouring? Would it be the unknown? This is really important to start to understand, because what we can do is work together to understand where that fear comes from. And I myself, if you go on to book a course with myself, will start to understand all the tools to help get rid of that fear, and then help with the tension, which then in hindsight will help with the pain. So that is the basis of where the hypnobirthing side comes from. So you might be looking at me saying, how can I get relaxed, Jodie? How do I know what will make me feel relaxed and calm in labour? So this is what's really important. In a hypnobirthing course, we dive in deep into what you might be fearful of, how to help you unprogram your brain to change your mindset. That's the number one tool that we need to do to then go on to have a really positive birth, no matter what the outcome is. We need to understand all of the techniques. So we need to understand breathing techniques during labour. We need to understand visualisation. We need to understand massage techniques, how to get your oxytocin levels really, really high. So oxytocin is one of the biggest hormones that we require when we go into labour. It's the love hormone. It's the hormone that if you feel extremely loved and safe, that is the hormone that we are looking for when it comes to labour. Now, a lot of people, as soon as those contractions start, will start to pace up and down the living room. We need to get to the hospital. We need to get to the hospital. I don't know what I'm doing. Partner doesn't know what he's doing. But really, that is the worst thing that you could be doing. So we dive in deep in what might help everyone's partners feel secure and safe to actually be able to help their partner during labour. We go through everything that you might need to help you prepare during labour. Now, it's even down to, if you book a full course with me, we go through the physiological side of birth, we go through the mindset, we go through how to advocate yourself with regards to labour and delivery. We go through inductions, we go through C-sections, we go through everything that you need to know when it comes to birth. So please don't think that, oh, I'm not really about the hypnobirthing side. Honestly, I can guarantee all of the men that have done my course with their wives or their partners have thanked me afterwards. because it's so important that they don't feel a spare part and they understand what they need to be doing during labour. That is the most important part, that you're both on the same books when it comes to the birth rights and advocating for yourself and what techniques work best for you, okay? Also, we go through prep work. Now, prep work is really, really important, because if we don't do any prep work to our bodies, I can guarantee you that you will not have the birth that you want, because your body needs to be trained to deliver. So we go through perineal massage, we go through exercises that we need to be doing, we go through exactly what you will be needing to do with regards to getting your oxytocin up weeks before. We're talking weeks before your due date, so that we have the best chance of not going over that 41-week mark. Because a lot of women, especially my first time mums, will go on maternity leave and then be looking at the clock. Be looking at it going, oh gosh, like, oh, I've still got a week to go, I'm fed up. That mindset is not going to get your oxytocin up. That is going to lower your oxytocin. That's going to make you feel stressed and overwhelmed, which is not what we want, okay? So, with regards to this, I hope you enjoyed the free taster session. It's only a little bit of a taster of what I offer, but it's good to understand exactly what hypnobirthing is without doing a 1-2 minute reel, because unfortunately you can't get across exactly what hypnobirthing is and how I can help you. So if you are feeling overwhelmed, scared, terrified, you don't know where to turn, or you just want a beautiful birth but don't know exactly how to do that, this course is for you. This course will change your whole life. Now, you might think that is so dramatic, but I promise you that the courses I provide change the core memory forever. So would you want a core memory to be that you ended up in an emergency C-section? You ended up having all of these awful things happening to you just because you didn't invest in some birth preparation. Those memories can change your whole life forever. So when I'm not being dramatic, but it can change your life. Okay, so with regards to that, I want you to know that I offer all different types of courses with different types of budgeting. Okay, so with regards to this, if you are in the Colchester area, I offer a full 1-to-1 hypnobirthing course. Now, this is 4 sessions with me for 2 hours, okay, each time. So each time you get 2 hours with me. Now, that is so, so important, because that forms a lovely bond, a lovely relationship with you and your partner, to really understand what type of birth you would like. Okay, so that's the full course. I then do an intense course. Now, this course is you get me for 1 day, but I come to your home for 4 hours, and I really try my best to squeeze everything in to those 4 hours. This is brilliant for working parents who don't have a lot of time, who want to get it done in 1 session. So that is brilliant for that. Also, I do an online Zoom call of just birth preparation. Now, in this birth preparation, I can go through anything that you want. So we can go through labour and delivery. We can go through a little bit of prep work. We can go through how you're feeling if you just needed someone to talk to. It's really, really important that we understand that there's different types of birth preparation. So the last and final one will be my online course. So my online course is all of my full course, but from the comfort of your own home. Okay, so this is brilliant for anyone that's a working parent or is the second time mum and they don't have enough time, or a first time mum and they don't have enough time to book in for a full course. This one is absolutely brilliant. So with regards to this, it's 4 modules that you will have to watch and sort of really engaging, and then we do a Zoom call later on any date that you would like. So in that Zoom call we answer questions if there's anything that you are unsure about. So what we do, that's a brilliant way to really, it's a cheaper way, but it's a brilliant way for you and your partner to just snuggle up, watch the videos and feel safe and secure in your own home without answering any questions there and then. So it's been amazing to talk to you, speak to you, but I would love you to follow me on Instagram on TrustYourBody. Go onto my website, have a look at all the different types of courses I do, and really think about, would you want your birth to be a certain way, or are you happy to just go with the flow? Okay, so if you have any questions or need any help, please message me via my email or on Instagram. But yeah, just to end, I'm so happy that you've watched the video and you feel like actually this might be for me. So have an amazing pregnancy and hopefully I will speak to you soon.